Hi, I just wanted to make this video for all of you about meal planning and prep because I know some of you have asked and I said I'd make a video and I apologize. I'm just getting to it now. Don't mind me. I'm just going to drink my Energize because I'm about to do my workout as soon as I finish this. And I want to get this in me. But basically, okay, so meal plans. Meal planning and prepping is something that takes time. It's really intimidating at first. I had a hard time with it at first. I kind of started slow and then I'm like, do this all the time now. So a lot of this depends on what you are, like how strict you want to be, right? So I'm going to kind of tell you how I do things and then share with you, like now that I'm doing the meal plan with Shift Shop, how I incorporate the containers into it. But basically, we're pretty boring people. We're creatures of habit, my husband and I. So we pretty much do the same thing for breakfast all the time. I used to be an English, like a whole wheat English muffin, almond butter person. But since doing Whole30, like I actually feel better throughout the day when I don't eat like a lot of carbs in the morning. So now I pretty much do Shakeology with a half a banana in the morning for breakfast. Most days, when I'm home or on the weekends, a lot of times we'll do eggs to get protein that way. In the winter and fall, a lot of times we'll do overnight. There's crock pot oats or steel cut oat recipes that are really good. So that's a lot of times what I'm doing for breakfast. Again, lunch, like we kind of go through seasons right now and through the summer. What we've done is my husband's been grilling chicken on Sundays. We have that for the week. And then usually on the side, I'll do like we made some red pepper, roasted red pepper pesto. That goes really good on top of that. And I'll have some avocado and some cucumbers, sometimes throw some lettuce to make it more like a salad, sometimes throw some cilantro on there just to garnish it and change the flavor up. But we're pretty boring people. Like for a while we did jar salads. And we'd prep salads on Sundays. But I really have found that when I'm eating more protein, I feel better throughout the day and I have better results. So that's why we've been trying to do like a chicken breast during the day for that reason. So basically what it comes down to for me, prepping on the weekends and planning is a lot of times dinners and what I'm going to have for dinner and how I am going, like what I'm going to prep ahead of time and what I'm going to have. So for instance, like this week, what I did is I sat down at my computer and I looked through Pinterest. I save most of my recipes on Pinterest. And do it that way. Sometimes we don't even follow a recipe. We might just get a pork tenderloin and throw some seasoning on that in a dish and put some veggies on the side, season those, and we'll have our sitter put that in, put it in the oven 30 minutes before I get home from work. And so you don't always have to have these fancy recipes, which I feel like for me took a long time to understand that sometimes it can be really basic and it can be healthy and it still can taste really good. So this week we are doing Sloppy Joe sweet potatoes, and it's a healthy version of Sloppy Joe's with turkey burger. It's got some diced some diced carrots and onions and celery in it. We're doing pork chops with peach salsa, which we're actually going to do tonight because we didn't have anything planned for tonight. Cobb salad because we got some lettuce at the farmer's market. Salmon with just a side of vegetables, and then cabbage rolls. So what I normally do is I pick like 5 or 6 things that we're going to have for the week, and then I plan on leftovers for 2 of the days, and that kind of makes things easy during the week. If we go through a lot of it and doesn't happen to be leftovers, well, it's not a big deal. Like Saturday morning, a lot of times we do our grocery shopping so we can get more then, for next week. So as long as I have enough for the next 5 days to get me through, that makes things a lot easier. Okay, sorry. So with that being said, so how do I so I get my meals, then what do I do? All right, so I can put this template in if you need me to, but basically A lot of times I just write it down. But last week, for instance, I did a calendar, right? So if you are following the meal plan, what I will do is I will, at the bottom, write how many of each container that I can have. And sorry, my husband's on call and he's mowing the lawn, and so I have to make sure that he's not getting called in. So right at the bottom, how many containers I'm allowed. So for instance, like the Sloppy Joes and the sweet potato, I know that the Sloppy Joes has turkey burger, that's a red, right? The sweet potato is a yellow, it's a carb. So I'll cross those out. I usually don't get too caught up in all the little micro ingredients, mostly because one, if you get a collection of recipes that are just clean, that don't use a lot of butter, don't use mayonnaise, have a lot of vegetables in it, use turkey burger instead of a high fat meat, if you just over time collect those recipes, those are your recipes, and they're going to be healthy recipes. And so all the other small stuff doesn't really matter that much, right? That's how I focus it. If you're doing that over time, things are going to add up. But as long as you keep things clean and you're finding healthy recipes or you're making substitutions to make it healthy, you should be right on track. So, the yellow and red. So then I go through, well, for lunch, I'm doing a chicken, which is a red, with avocado is a blue, with cucumbers is a green, and I don't worry about the red pepper pesto because I use like 2 tablespoons, and it's healthy stuff in there. There's garlic, there is pine nuts, there are roasted red peppers, there's basil, stuff that I'm not necessarily worried are going to add a lot of, calories or containers, so to speak, right? And then for breakfast, right? So a Shakeology is a red, and a banana, a half a banana is a purple. So then I mark my main meals. What food containers do those use? And then what do I have left? And then I plan my snacks around that. I have the same, like when I tell you we're boring people, we pretty much use the same types of snacks all the time. So most of the time it's like yogurt, Greek, non-fat, just Greek whole fat actually is what we use, yogurt. Sometimes I'll add a dab of honey or fruit on it, sometimes some granola in it, depending on kind of like what meal plan I'm following, or if I'm just going on a whim. Cottage cheese, nuts, almonds or walnuts. You can kind of switch up the type of nuts, fruits, and vegetables. And Laura bars. I started doing Laura bars after Whole30, and they are the most wholesome bars you can have. They're just nuts and usually fruit. Some of them have vegetables in them. There are some that have added sugar, like there's like a chocolate chip something, there's like a mint chocolate something. They're still healthy, but just know that they are adding extra sugar to those. So I just stick to the plain ones. So what I do then is I go through my snacks and I see what containers I have left. So if I have a red left and a green left, I'll do cottage cheese and a bag of carrots, right? If I have, so that's how I figure out the snacks, and I go through it that way. But pretty much we, like I said, do similar snacks. When I'm following the meal plan specifically, obviously you have to have those containers in mind. When you're not, just make sure you're eating balanced. Make sure you're looking at your plan and what you're eating during the day, and it's not all carbs, and it's not all protein, and it's not all fruits, and it's not all vegetables, and it's a wide variety. And when you're incorporating fats, just try to make it healthy fats like almonds and avocado. And I don't know, those are the two main healthy fats that I eat. Hummus, for instance, is another one, right? So hopefully that helps when it comes to meal planning and or meal prepping. So that's how I plan. I literally, snacks, breakfasts, and lunches are kind of a no-brainer for us. It's dinners that I have to just come up with every week. And that's what I come up with, and then create my grocery list from that. Then what do I do on the weekends from there? Well, my husband and I usually work together because I need him to grill. And so I'm going to show you because we've been in the kitchen today. Okay, all of that with tinfoil, that is about, there's 4 packets of chicken on there that my husband seasoned. He's going to grill. We're doing Cobb salad. So one of those are going to be from for the Cobb salad, that once it's grilled, just chop it up, put it in a Tupperware, put it in the fridge, and have that on hand. The lettuce is already washed. All that has to do is get cut up. And then I hard boiled some eggs, right there. They're kind of cooling off. Then we'll put those in the fridge. So that will be the Cobb salad. And then we just boiled some extra eggs so my husband can have them for breakfast. And because we're following the Shift Shop meal plan right now, I get like 5 breads and he gets, I think, 8. So he needs more protein. So he's going to have those on hand for snacks or in addition to his breakfast. Then there's also in one of those tin foils is the pork chops. Again, just seasoned with salt and pepper because it's the peach jalapeno salsa. And so he's going to grill all of that at the same time, right? We'll have the grilled chicken for the week. We'll have chicken for the Cobb salad. We'll have pork chops for tonight. Done, right? And this really just makes it easy. So we're not spending all of our time in the kitchen during the week or figuring out what to eat. So that is done. I did the peach jalapeno salsa. I'm super excited. It looks amazing. If you want the recipe, I'm happy to share it. That's going to go on the pork chops for tonight. So what else do I do? Well, I got a 3-pound thing of turkey burger because I am doing stuffed cabbage rolls that are going in the crock pot, and that calls for turkey burger, and then Sloppy Joe stuffed sweet potatoes, right? So I have sweet potatoes. That's super easy. I'm just going to nuke those in the microwave the night that we use that. But I made the Sloppy Joes ahead of time because it's super easy to do. I'll put those in a container, in a Tupperware, in the fridge, and have those that I can just warm up. You know, some things are better warmed up, some things aren't. So if it's easy to warm up, something like Sloppy Joes, I just make it ahead of time. It's in the fridge. Then I can literally nuke it when I get home from work, add it onto some sweet potatoes, and we have dinner. We'll probably do that with a side of vegetables like cucumbers because we have a lot from the garden. We got some broccoli. We just always have vegetables on hand. Then with the remaining turkey burger, I'm going to do stuffed cabbage rolls. Well, those go in the crock pot, and they're definitely not good ahead of time. So what I did is I just put it in a Tupperware, right? I added the seasoning that goes on top. I added some, it's just Italian seasoning and garlic, and then chopped onions in there. And then the night before we make those, all I have to do is I'm doing frozen cauliflower rice. You don't have to make things complicated, okay? It comes frozen. Add frozen cauliflower rice. I have cabbage. I just roll the cabbage, throw it in the crock pot, add a can of diced tomatoes over top. Super easy. And so literally we do pretty much everything on the weekend. So during the week, we're probably spending maybe 15 or 20 minutes and dinner's ready. And there's not the mess and there's not the cleanup. And then it gives us more time to do our workouts during the week. And it's really just a win-win. So what else do we do? Well, our vegetables are all washed. Sometimes certain vegetables we cut up ahead of time, like peppers, cucumbers, we might cut up for a few days, but then, we'll cut up a bunch for a few days and then wait again. If you cut them all up, they'll dry out at the end, but like green and red and yellow peppers are really easy to cut up ahead of time. Carrots, we have a bag of carrots, so those are going to be on hand. Super easy to eat or to throw on the stovetop if you want them cooked. There is broccoli, which I'm just going to put the colorful, cut up the small pieces, again, to either have as a munching snack or to just go with a dish. So that's pretty much the prep. And that is going to cover all of the meals, really. Salmon, we tend to just get our salmon the day before we're going to eat it. We're having company tonight, and we decided to do this pork. But so I'll just pick up salmon after work, and then again, probably just either have my husband grill it or just add a little bit of seasoning and put it on with a side of vegetables. So it doesn't have to be hard. It can be really simple, but just doing what you can to prep and cut everything up ahead of time makes a huge difference. Hopefully that helps kind of with the planning and the prep. And if you don't have Pinterest, I think most people do, I highly recommend getting it. It is a lifesaver for storing your recipes and having them on hand to use as reference. But anyway, I hope this video helped. Comment below if you have any questions. Bye.